Hey friends, how you doing? Welcome back to my channel. It is TheTranspondster here with another speed build in The Sims 4. Today we are building a vet clinic in Oasis Springs. The vet clinic lot type comes with cats and dogs, and there is one by default in Brindleton Bay, but I do sometimes like to build my own so that I have a different one to go to, change it up a little bit. I'm sticking with my theme of using items that I never use, and I use those blue windows, which I find so awkward to place, but I feel like if I do use them anywhere, the place to do it would be a commercial lot, so this was the perfect chance to do so. And then on the inside, the windows are also not that blue shade, so it's not like it's clashing with the furnishings when you get to the interior, so I really like that aspect of them. Though I do wish that there was a swatch that was just a plain window, like if they came in blue and then also just plain clear, that would be awesome. But we all know that The Sims is not great for doing things that make sense like that or finding swatches that match. So, again, it is what it is with this game. I did use a reference photo that I have here on the screen for you. I am rebuilding all of the worlds to hopefully one day release a save file. It is one day long in the future because we have just gotten started. We've only done maybe 5 or so builds for this new world, but I am loving how it's turning out so far. And I wanted to go with a little bit of an Arizona style in Oasis Springs. So I looked up some vet clinics in Arizona, and this is one that I found that I liked. I thought it had a little bit of a unique style to it, one that challenged me a little bit and looks a little different from your typical lot. I liked that the door was around the corner and that the front of this building looked more like it was focusing on some curb appeal. And then it really lucked out for me that there is a parking lot when you swing around the back side of this build, so it looks as though like your Sims can walk around the side and enter through that side door. It's less of a walk for them to get in. And then I really liked how that poster on the front turned out. I feel like it's fitting for where I used it. Right now, I'm starting to place some debug landscaping. I do use the Better Build By mod from Twisted Mexis. It is probably my most recommended mod. I don't use many, and most of the ones I use are pretty popular ones because I want mods that are going to be updated fairly quick after a new patch is released, because I do play a lot of Sims and I don't want my game to be broken. I also don't want to have to remove mods that I've gotten really used to having. Like this Better Build By has changed my life. I am such a big builder in The Sims, and it just organizes the debug menu so much better. You can actually search for items. Like if I typed in tree, it would show me all the debug trees. So it's really useful in that aspect. There is another mod by the same creator called Tool, which I have not really played around with yet, but I really want to start, and I'm thinking that at the end of all these builds, when I'm getting close to releasing the save file, I can use that tool mod and be able to place some additional items within the world that are not slotted to a lot. But right now it is just a dream because I have to learn how to use the mod first. So if anyone even has some tips on that or places to start with, maybe some videos or tutorials. I did watch the creator's tutorial and it makes sense. I just haven't put it into action. So that's on me. I'm just sliding some rocks and some little plants around the edges of this pathway here because I wanted it to blend a little better, and I was worried that if I used a fence around it, like one of the small short ones, that it would mess with the terrain. I don't do a lot of terrain manipulation in The Sims. I used to do a lot in The Sims 2 and 3. I watched a lot of tutorials on it. I find it a little bit easier to use in The Sims 4 4, like a lot of the build features, Sims 3 and Sims 2 especially were very finicky when it came to terrain manipulation. Actually, if I remember correctly, you might have even needed to use cheats to begin with to do any terrain manipulation in The Sims. So it's nice that now it's a lot easier to access and just start moving stuff around. I wish this lot was a little bit bigger so that the sides weren't so slanted, but I think it does turn out how it is, and I am happy with it. I really like that I got some steps to walk up, and it just adds a little bit more to the curb appeal here. In the interior of this build, I wanted it to not only look like a vet clinic, but potentially a little pet shop as well. So I do put a register in there from the Get to Work pat. If you want to slot this lot as a retail lot type, I feel like it would work, and then you would just have the vet clinic items there if you ever wanted to change it back, or if you want your Sims that work at the pet store to also be able to work on building their vet skill. Maybe one day they want to transform their store into a vet clinic. Whatever store you go with, I feel like it would work. I honestly don't think I've played as the vet career in The Sims 4, maybe in previous packs if we've had it, but the most I've done is recreate a vet clinic and create the family that owns it and skill them up. But I haven't played as the family. I've just played with them in my world. The little jars that I got on the front counter, I think fit so perfectly there. I hardly ever use them because I feel like to use them in any kitchen that I build in The Sims, that sim needs to have pets, and then it doesn't always fit with the vibe that I'm going for. It's one of those items I know about, but I don't actively search out. So I really like that I got to use it here. I think it's really cute because whenever I go into pet stores, they always have little treats that you can buy for your dogs and cats. So it felt so fitting and made it look a little more realistic to me. A couple of the items I'm placing down for your Sims to be able to buy if you do make this a retail lot are debug. I believe they come with my first pet stuff because it's like the straw or hay that you would put at the bottom of like a hamster cage, which I actually get a couple of those in here as well. I did struggle with what items to place here that could be for sale. I realized that there aren't a lot of small items for pets in this game. So I had to kind of makeshift a little bit, and I ended up putting down like soap jars because I thought, it could be shampoo for your dogs. And then the books I thought could be like pet related books if you go to the store, and maybe there's some books on training dogs or how to care for cats if you are a new pet owner. I did look for a pet training skill book in the debug menu, and I was kind of surprised that there isn't one. I guess you can only build the skill by having your sim actually train their pets, which is a little disappointing. I wanted to try and get another skill item on this lot that made sense so that if your sim did have to bring their pet here, they could make it a useful trip for themselves too, and not just their furry friend. But unfortunately, we were limited in that, so I don't really have much for them to do. I might, in my own game, put some friends in those cages, and then I guess the Sims visiting could interact with them. But, I mean, a vet clinic is not a fun place to go, so I guess it's realistic and fitting. I used a tile I never use in the game, and I think it turned out really cute. It matches really well with the swatch that I picked for all of the vet clinic items, and yeah, I love finding all these things that I never go to when I'm playing by myself, just because I'm trying to make it a little different. I don't want all of the lots in this save file to look the same, so I'm really pushing myself to remember what I'm using in my most recent builds so that I can make sure I'm changing it up a little as I go on to the next ones. When it came to painting the terrain, I did struggle a little bit with making it blend in, but I think it does turn out how I got it. And can I just say that for a vet clinic, they have some luxurious bathrooms here. One thing I'm trying to do is to make all the commercial lot types accessible for Sims of any age. So I am trying to remember to put both a potty for toddlers and a changing table for infants in all of these builds. Unfortunately, if you do bring your infant, there is no mat to put it on, so you may end up having your sim just leave him hanging around on the ground, but it's no different than anywhere else in The Sims. They are just leaving infants everywhere. That is the end of this build. I am so happy with how it turned out. I love the build style of this, that it's something a little different than what I typically build or that you see just walking down the street. It's a little bit fancy, but still modest. I hope you enjoy the screenshots coming up, and I thank you so much for being here to watch my videos. I can't wait to share the next one with you. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and have a good one. Bye!